First, let me thank Afore for giving me the opportunity to deliver the opening remarks for this policy debate. As the rapporteur on the Financial Data Access File, or FiDA, I am hopeful that together with the shadow rapporteurs from other political groups, I will be able to contribute to the two central themes of today's policies debate, and that is enhancing the EU data-driven economy and empowering customers on their financial data. So let me first share you some insights on the motivations behind my draft report and to make some speculative predictions on the road that is ahead of us. I will focus on two general priorities that I have kept in my mind throughout the preparation of the draft report and that I will keep in mind during the remainder of the legislative process. The first is consumer protections and the other is innovation. My absolute number one priority was to amend the Commission proposal to make it more customer-centric. For a safe and successful implementation of the FiDA framework, customers should first and foremost have full confidence in its safety, reliability, and fairness. This is also the logical thing to do from the European Parliament's perspective. After all, we are members of the European Parliament and I represent the European citizens. So any access to customers' financial data should have due considerations for data privacy. And this is why I decided to take most of the EDPS suggestions on board of my draft report, as well as some input that we have received from consumer organizations and other NGOs. Most notably, this also implies a stricter delineation of the scope when it comes to the categories of personal data that can be made available under FiDA, and also taking into account financial exclusion risks. Also, data sovereignty enhances both privacy protection and data security. So I suggest that third country undertakings should not be able to benefit from an authorization as a financial information service provider, and that designated gatekeepers under the Digital Markets Act should not be able to access data under FiDA. My second priority for the open finance framework is that it should be innovation friendly. Customers should be able to unlock and reuse their data in a secure way and as they see fit and as to their own will, so that they can profit from a wider choice of service providers. So my draft report contains a number of modifications to the Commission's proposal, notably in the context where I suggest a perhaps slight yet very important change of the narrative. Open finance should be about giving consumers full control of their data. And the draft report, therefore, consistently replaces references to data sharing by reference to data access. More on substance, I think that the concerns voiced most loudly by incumbents that adequate incentives are crucial to foster market adoption. And an important amendment in this respect is that I more closely align provisions on compensation with the market-driven approach under the Data Act. Technology neutrality also contributes to innovation, for example, to leave open more options for how data is to be accessed. So I propose to replace application programming interfaces, so APIs, with high-quality technical interfaces. More generally, the long-term success of the FiDA framework requires at least minimum levels of interoperability, both technical for data and data access infrastructure, and regulatory among different frameworks. A number of amendments aim at improving the Commission's proposal in this respect. again, mostly by closer alignment with other pieces of EU legislation. Let me now turn to the road ahead of us and some particular challenges that I face along the way, being the rapporteur, holding the pen during these negotiations on the Parliament side. We are still very early in the process, and contrary to the previous files that I have steered through the legislative process in the Parliament as rapporteur, European Long-Term Investment Funds and the Instant Payments Regulation, this time Parliament has what I could call a first mover advantage. At the Council side, the Belgian presidency is currently focused on files that are already in trilogue, and the Council's general approach on FiDA is not expected before the second quarter of 2024. The deadline for amendments on the Parliament side, however, is tomorrow. So only once we have a clear view on all amendments tabled, we will be able to judge whether it is realistic to stick to our own ambitious timetable. Practically speaking, we only have a handful of weeks if we want the econ vote on the Parliament's position to take place before the elections. So I have tabled only a few additional amendments myself on top of those already in my draft report. I have put my proposals on how to approach the file on the table. So now it is to a large extent up to the shadows, rapporteurs and other econ members. My responsibility as rapporteur is to steer and guide the file through Parliament. And inevitably, that also means compromise. First with other political groups and later on with the Council. In any case, I consider myself lucky with the negotiating team. All shadow rapporteurs will bring their own perspective to the table, which we will all hope have a result in a balanced agreement supported by a comfortable majority in the Econ Committee. But before we get there, we have a long road ahead of us, and I'm the first to admit, just like the Commission proposal, the draft report is not ready to become law tomorrow. It is, in that sense, an opening gambit aimed at sending a political signal on a very complicated file, and I count on all the stakeholders, shadow rapporteurs, and the Council to collaborate constructively towards an open finance framework that we can indeed make sure that we can enhance the EU data-driven economy and to empower customers on their financial data. Thank you very much for having me, and I look forward to the discussion. Thank you so much.